Hi guys, welcome back. So today I have this peachy, orangey, summertime kind of eye, and I don't know, this is not what I intended doing today. I actually wanted to do something more dramatic. It's a really nice day outside. I was outside in the backyard and I was feeling the sun. I was feeling the summertime look. So this is what I have. If you want to learn how to do it, just keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to be mostly using the Morphe 350 palette, and I feel kind of bad because I was kind of talking shit about it in my last video. I was just saying that I like the 35R palette a lot more. Now I'm using the 350. Okay, so I'm going to do the same kind of thing that I did in my last video and use mostly like my transition shades. I'm going to be using the 350 palette just because it's really affordable. It has such a variety of shades. So instead of dipping into multiple palettes or like single shadows from a Z palette, I'm just going to be sticking to this so that way it's a lot easier if you want to try to achieve this look. So for a transition shade, I'm going to be going into this one. I'm going to be going into this one with my Sigma blending brush. This is going to be the first color we put into the crease. So I'm just going to take my fluffy brush and we're going to blend this in and diffuse the color until it's nice and blended. It's this really pretty peachy shade. Since we're doing a peachy eyeshadow look today, this is going to be perfect for a transition. Obviously, I'm being kind of sloppy. I tend to do this a lot just because I know I'm going to clean it up. The more I lay down the colors, the more it'll clean up, if that makes sense. So I'm being kind of sloppy. I don't care if it gets onto my lid, just because I know I'm going to be able to clean that up. Next thing I'm going to do is take my Morphe, this is the M441. It's just like a rounded fluffy brush. I'm going to take this orangey shade. It's just a little bit darker than the peachy one. It has a little more orange in it. And this is going to go right underneath the transition. We're going to do the same exact thing as I did in my last video. We're just going to gradually lay down darker colors the lower into the crease we go, just so we have that really pretty transition of colors from dark to light. And with that same brush, so I'm going to go into this orangey shade. It's a little bit darker than this one, so I'm going to just take my same brush, I'm going to dip into this, and we're just going to go over that same color we just put down, just to further intensify. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my M433 brush. This is a little more of a dense crease brush. I'm going to take this reddish shade. I'm just kind of going in order. I'm going from light to medium to darkest. I'm going to take this and dip it in here. And this is going to go in the very, very crease of my eye, right underneath these lighter shades. So we're going to pop that right in there. And I'm keeping this low. I'm not going high up into, I'm not going to go high with this because it is the darkest of the oranges that we're using, because I want to be able to see the transition of dark to medium to light. It is getting on my lid, but that's okay. We're going to clean that up, so don't worry about that. I'm just going to blend this into the very, very crease of my eye. Now that I've laid down all my transition shades, you can tell that it's fallen onto my eyelid. It's really messy looking, and since I'm using such a light peachy shade for my lid, all I'm going to do is take my primer. I have this little concealer brush that I use to prime. Dip this in here. I'm just going to kind of carve out my lid for the shadow that I'm going to use on my actual eyelid. Also, taking the time to clean up this step and laying down a bit more primer, that is going to help the lid color stand out a little bit. I'm just going to pack it on with my Sigma Firm Shader Brush. This is the E57. I like this brush to pack matte colors if I'm using something matte on the lid because it really packs the color on, versus the Morphe G20, which I also love because it's a really dense brush, but I like that for packing on more shimmery shades. So the Sigma E57, this is really nice for packing on matte colors. What's nice is since we laid down the primer to clean up a little bit of the fallout from the orange shades, this is going to stick to that really nicely and stand out even more. And then after that, of course, I do this with every step. I take my blending brush and I just blend so we don't have any type of harsh lines. Okay, so I'm going to add a wing and then my lashes, and I'll be right back and we'll do foundation. Okay, so I've got on my wing, I've got on my lashes. I tried not to let my wing get away from me. I think I did okay. I use the Salon Perfect 615 lashes for this just because they're very flirty and they're very natural looking, and that's kind of what I was going for since I'm doing like more of a summertime So I just have a little baby wing. It's a little thicker than what I wanted, but that's okay. We're gonna go with it. Also, I feel like, I don't know, this is just my personal opinion, but I don't really feel like the 615s look good with a huge ass wing. So I just did kind of like a little baby wing. It's okay, whatever. It's working for me. Okay, so for face, I already have on the NYX Angel Veil. I use that on the outer perimeters of my face. And then on my T-zone, I'm really, 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 really oily. I use the Makeup Forever mattifying primer. I used it like right here and then right in this area where I get super oily. Like my makeup just slides off my face in that area. So I have to use something very mattifying. And for foundation, I was actually cleaning again. I found a sample that I got from the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. I've never tried this foundation before, but it came in like this pack from something that I ordered online from Sephora a while back. I actually forgot that I had it. I'm gonna try, it came with Y225. I don't know if that's my color. I'm just gonna test it out. What the hell? The only thing is that I heard this is not that great for oily skin. So I don't know how it's gonna do, but I have on a really, the Makeup Forever mattifying primer is like it's matte. Yo face is gonna be matte. So hopefully that works out. I don't know. We'll see. This could end up being a disaster. And I'm going to a barbecue today. And I'm going to be out in the Texas sun, which is very, very hot for those of you who know Texas. So this could potentially be a disaster, but we're just going to try it. Why not? As if this luminous foundation is not enough, I'm going to add in the Kevyn Aucoin Candlelight Illuminator. I know this is literally a recipe for disaster, but you know, sometimes I'm just tired of being matte. I want to be dewy and glowy just like other girls. I just can't because I'm so oily, but it's just makeup. It'll wash off, so fuck it. I'm just going to use a little tiny bit and mix it in with the foundation. It's not that much, so maybe it'll just make me a little glowy. Sometimes I just want to be glowy. Everybody else gets to be glowy. Why can't I do the same thing? I don't know how much to use. I've never tried this foundation. I don't know anything about it. I just know it's supposed to be really good for photos. But it's not that great for oily skin is just what I heard. I mean, whatever. We're just going to do it. Okay, so I've just got this here on my hand. I'm just going to mix it in with the illuminator. And I used way too much. Whatever. I don't know if this was the best idea. Okay, I'm just going to pounce this in with my beauty blender. You know, I have to give people props who use brushes for their foundation. I cannot use a brush. I used to use a brush like before the beauty blender came out. I just can't do it anymore. I don't know how people do it. The other night I got home late and I just took off my makeup with a wipe. I didn't wash my face or anything. And now I've got this huge friend right there. It hurts like a mother. Okay, so I've got my whole face done. I'm just going to take a little over my cheeks where my rosacea peeks through. So I always have to take a little extra foundation and cover it up right here. This foundation is really light. Wow, this foundation is really light. I feel like Casper the Friendly Ghost. Oh my god. Oh, it's like 2 shades lighter than my neck. I'm going to have to put on a lot of bronzer. Okay, we're going to make it work. It's fine. If you ever get foundation that's too light, like clearly how this is, you can bronze the hell out of your face. Okay, I've got my foundation on. Next thing I'm going to do is take the Tarte Shape Tape. My shade is Light Sand. This is like one of the best concealers I've ever used. I used to be ride or die for the MAC Pro Longwear, and I still am. I still love that concealer and use it from time to time. I hate to say this because I feel like I'm cheating. This is just a teeny tiny bit better. You do not need a lot of this concealer, I promise. It's very easy to overuse this because it's so thick. So I just put a little bit right in the inner corner. I don't know about other people. I feel like it dries a little fast for me, so I only do one eye at a time. Like I'll blend out this one and then I'll go in and blend out my other eye. I have to set my concealer on top of baking. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of MAC Emphasize, and I always mix it with a little bit of ABH Banana. I like the brightness that Emphasize gives me, but it's just a little too bright on its own. So the banana shade balances it out. And I take an e.l.f. blush brush. I use this for my under eyes. And then what I do is my under eyes are really creasy, so I always pat out the creases. But if you don't pat out your creases first, you're just going to set the creases with the powder, and your concealer is going to be creased all day. So I always take the time to pat out the creasing from my concealer because it creases almost instantly on me. I'm not really liking this foundation. I feel like it's settling into my fine lines. I don't like that at all, but I don't know. We'll see once I have all my powders and everything on. Okay, so next I'm just going to take the Cover FX blotting powder. This is what I've been using to set my foundation. This is just in the shade Light. It really just comes off as translucent. It really doesn't have any color to it. And I'm going to take my Sonia Kashuk number 130 brush. This is my favorite powder brush at the moment. And we're just going to set this face so my oils don't break through. Especially hit that T-zone. Now before I move on to the rest of my face, like my bronzer and my blush and everything, I'm just going to do a little bit of baking underneath my under eyes, because even though I put that powder under there, my under eyes still crease pretty badly, even though they're set. So I'm going to take the under eye setting powder from Kat Von D. This is like my new obsession for baking my under eyes. I absolutely love it. It's in the shade Petal. It's kind of peachy, like it has a peachy tone to it, but I don't know, when I have it on and after it's like settled into my skin, it doesn't really give off that peachy color. It just kind of like melts into your skin beautifully. And I know baking is a really huge trend right now, but I have to say I'm not the biggest fan of baking my whole face besides my under eyes. I just don't like the way it looks on me. It makes me look too like sculpted, and I sometimes I like that look and sometimes I don't. I have to bake my under eyes just because they crease so badly. I have a lot of under eye wrinkles. I don't like to do like the cheekbones or here, my face, like the whole rest of my face. I just really like to do my under eyes. I'm going to take the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Bronzer in 4. This is actually my summer bronzer. It's pretty dark, but since this foundation is so pale, this will work out. This is going to help even out the face since my foundation is way too light. So we're just going to do the cheek. I'm going to go up into the temple and the forehead. This is going to help even out that color so I don't look too ghostly. We're going to take this down the neck so everything matches. Just going to do my whole chest since I made a boo-boo today. Okay, and then for contour, I'm going to take the Chocolate Soleil bronzer. This is the medium deep one by Too Faced, and my contour brush from Real Techniques, just to make my face look a little more structured. Even though I said I hate the way structured looks, but I actually don't. I like contour, I just don't like baking so much. I don't like the way it looks once I already have my makeup on. I will say sometimes I'll take my blush or my contour down way too low and it looks kind of messy. And I'll just take a little bit of powder and just right there and then brush it away instantly, and it does help clean it up. I just don't like to let it set on my face. Try to look a little sun-kissed since I look so pale. I'm going to dust away my under eye powder. This has been sitting long enough. I'm going to take my MAC blush brush. I wish I could tell you the name of this brush. I've had it for so long that it's actually rubbed off. I have no idea what it's called. I got it years ago. And I'm going to take Hot Mama by the Balm, this really pretty corally shade. Just going to hit the cheeks with this. And I'm going to do this right into my contour so they kind of blend together. Me personally, I have more of a round face, so I don't like to hit the apples of my cheeks when I blush because I feel like that makes me look more round. I just kind of like to keep it on the outside right here, and I'll pull it down just a tiny bit, but usually I just like to keep it right there on the outside of my face. And then on top of that, I'm going to take the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder. This is in the shade Crown of My Canopy. This is newer for me, but it's this really pretty peachy shimmery highlight. this is too dark to be a highlight on me. My skin's a little too fair right now. So I actually like to use it as a blush topper. And since we're doing kind of like coral colors and, you know, warm oranges, I'm just going to top this right here. And then what I always do before I put on my highlight is I always take my bronzer brush and I blend everything together so there's no lines. I don't want any lines between my bronzer and my blush and my contour. For my highlight, I'm going to take my Morphe M310 brush. This is just a fan brush. And I'm going to pick up Champagne Pop and Prosecco Pop from the Jekyll & Hill palette. This is like the best creation of all time. And we're going to hit the high points of my cheek, right above the brow, and just a teensy tiny bit down the nose, and right at the tip of the nose. Like, I can't stop putting on highlight. My hand just won't stop moving. I just want to be a disco ball. Now that I'm gleaming, I think that's enough. Okay, so to finish off the eyes, we're just going to do a highlight on this eye, an inner corner highlight, and my lower lash line. Now, this is a trick I wanted to show you guys. When I blended the darker colors into my transition, I lost a little bit of that lighter peachy color on this eye. Now that I've got my eyes completely done, I'm just going to take the first transition shade that I used, and all I'm going to do is take my blending brush, and I'm going to put this right at the top where I had originally laid it down. But I still want to see the transition of colors from dark to light. So I'm just going to put a little bit right there just to get that color back, and that's all you need. Then lastly, I'm going to take Nylon with my little Eco Tools brush that I use for my brow bone highlight. I'm just going to pop this right underneath the brow bone. I don't really want to do like something too smoky or too dramatic down here. So I'm just going to take these two shades. These are the two darker colors that I used in my crease. This is a random pencil brush. It has no name on it. I have no idea where it came from, but this is what I used to smoke out my lower lash line. For the inner corner, I'm just going to take Prosecco Pop, and I just like the way gold and orange look together. So I'm actually not going to use Nylon on my inner corner like I usually do. We're going to do something a little different. I forgot that I had this. This is a Maybelline eyeliner. It's this really pretty coppery color. I actually just decided that I'm going to use this too. I think it'll look really pretty with the oranges. So I'm just going to take Blankety from MAC. And then on top of that, I'm going to take Butterscotch from ABH. So I'm just going to put this right on top. So I hope you guys enjoyed this look. This is what I really gravitate towards in the summertime. I really like to go with like oranges and nudes and peach colors. Not that I wouldn't do it in the winter, it's just that the brightness of summertime brings out the brightness in me, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.